What is going on, everybody? Welcome to an episode of Strictly Sports, the pre-show. I'm B-Wise,
It's your boy Miles.
and we are back with another pre-show before another jam-packed, action-packed episode of Strictly. How you doing today, brother?
I'm thirsty, man. I think I need some milk.
Hey, I know somebody.
nah,
That-
you ain't let me finish. I need some chocolate milk.
oh, there you go. Shout out
Yeah.
to Liquid Death. I love my water. Shout out Liquid Death for the water.
Okay. Yeah. I'm. Me too, bro. Hey, let's give a shout out to B Wise, man. His he ain't got the best electrical going on right now, but he's still
Yeah,
finding a way to do a show in the pitch black in the country.
yeah. We out here. We out here in the country. We still the show must go on.
Yeah.
People probably looking at me crazy. I'm look like a sucker. People seeing what I got. I don't like that, but we gotta have a show. We gotta have a show.
Mhm.
But funny enough, I've been drinking chocolate milk recently. Y'all excuse me, because we are in the country, and I got my incense burning to keep the bugs away.
Mhm.
Let me get this out my face like that. So I got the stuff that goes in the diffuser for the bugs, but I
Mhm.
don't have a diffuser because I can't find my power cord for it. So I got incense that I just dip the stuff on it from the thing, and then I just light the incense and let it burn the old fashioned way.
Okay.
So if I'm in a commercial in 30 years, y'all y'all know why. It's for me dipping these incense in this stuff.
Mm.
But no, man. Um, so outside of what we're gonna talk about in the show, brother, how you been doing? What's been going on? What's been
6.5 days, man. 6.5
hey?
days.
Let's talk.
Parents,
Uh,
tick tock. Tick tock. The
Parents, you on the
clock is
clock.
ticking.
You're on the clock, parents.
The clock is ticking, parents.
You are on
May
the clock.
30th at 11 o'clock is your judgment day.
It's.
Ugh.
I was at the award ceremony for today. Shout out Elijah. Got the 3.75 GPA
Okay.
Citizenship Award.
Big money.
Nothing on the advanced SOLs, but we working on that. But they started with, hey, we're gonna give every student their recognition. We're gonna call their name up individually, and we're gonna call all seventh graders up. Once we got to about 9:45 at the 8:30 start, they're like, we're just gonna call y'all all up at one time, and then that's it. So they started calling them up in groups. I'm like, yo, y'all in here thinking y'all was gonna get this assembly done early, but y'all ain't
Mhm.
really had all this stuff. But it was dope, man. It was dope seeing all the kids get awarded and how many kids got awards, and how many kids actually paid attention during the SOL. So we're proud of them.
Yeah, man. I actually did testing for the math SOL. Um, I was a little worried because unfortunately, I had about 22 kids. Half of them was staring off into space. I had to wake five of them up. Another five, 56 questions. Another,
Yeah.
five of them finished in like 10 minutes. I'm like, what the fuck? Ain't nobody have, math problems on a scratch sheet of paper. I said, oh, we.
You
So,
did your job. You a
yeah.
good teacher.
Well, I mean, I don't teach math, but they wanted me to run
I
the
know.
test. So,
You
yeah.
just set in for them. Yeah.
Yeah, so because the math the teacher that I did it for filling for her niece died. Her niece committed suicide. She won't
Oh,
in her heart won't end it. So,
yeah.
but yeah, man, it's the schools. I think we touched back on it. It's way different from when we was in school. Counted, we don't
Public,
hold
right? How you
we
doing?
yeah we don't hold these kids accountable for nothing, man. And that is the biggest issue I see in the schools. We don't hold these kids accountable. Um, I don't know how it is for Dinwiddie, but Chester, so you know how we was in school. If you didn't do the assignment the day it was due, you just get a zero. Chesterfield County, man, we have to allow that child to make up the work up until that 8th week of the 9 weeks.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Elijah had to go through that. Appreciate it. He,
What?
my boy didn't turn the packet in, and that's what we dealing with now.
Yeah, but I mean, but what is? But we're not. And like, if you're absent, okay, but if you just sitting there in class not doing nothing, and now you got 8 weeks or whatever, how many weeks to make it up? Like, what are we teaching our kids?
So I agree with you, but this is the other part of it, and this is why the education system right now needs a change for both teachers and students and parents. Elijah said he took a SOL that he didn't even learn half of the stuff on there. So, is there a line you think of? What are we teaching them that they should be turning into, and what is, according to Virginia standards of learning, what they should be learning? Because I get sometimes you have to stretch a curriculum to make it work all these days, which
Right.
I also understand why the education system really needs reform. But it's
Well, and I
the
mean,
students not doing the work.
I'm not saying about your son, but we have kids say that. But how many of the times the kids just don't pay attention?
That's true.
We may have spent like a couple of days on something, but if there's something that it's May and there's something back they learned August, who the fuck gonna remember that? I'm not gonna remember that. Yeah. So, like you said, it needs to be reformed. Does the SOL really prove if a child knows something or not? And at the end of the day, the SOL ain't nothing but a memorization test. What can you memorize?
And with kids' attention spans getting shorter and shorter, and the prevalence of screens, that's just going down. They be in that. They don't be in that phone. Well, they be in the phone after.
No, they definitely will be in the phone. The teachers or the students. Lady, right?
You're talking about the students.
Yeah, we have a big phone problem. But the issue with the phone problem is we can't get the parents on board. The parents want these kids to have phones just in case of emergency. Well, I'm like, well, what the fuck can you do if an emergency happens? You can't come into school anyway.
We didn't have emergencies. We had cell phones back in the day. We had emergencies.
Yeah, or like if your child does after school curriculum, what you do is you plan the day before, and if you can't get there, then you you get someone to pick your child up. But we don't raise our kids in a village, so you can't call nobody.
That's true.
But
then it's also tough too. To speak to that is, you may know better. Maybe this may be my naivety or naivete or whatever. How many people can you put on that list of can pick the student up? Because I know they have a certain number of people.
I want to say it's 5.
Because, like you said, we don't have some people don't even have 2 people they can call to pick their kids.
Yeah, I want to say it's 5. But I mean, your kids got friends. Hey, mom, Larry's mom gonna pick. Miles' mom is gonna pick you up from practice and drop you off. I don't think that. I think that's just to leave the school. But after school curriculums, if we both on the basketball team and my parents at work, then I'll get BY's mom to take me home, or I'll go to BY's house and tell my mom or dad gets off of work and they pick me up.
Or send a Uber.
Send an Uber. That's what I used to do, man. When I was elementary school and my parents went at the bus stop, the bus driver used to take me to her house. Shout out to Miss Haskins, by the way.
Miss Haskins, I have Miss Haskins.
Yeah, she would at the end of my end of the neighborhood is where they let me go. My parents weren't there. She would drive to the house, honk the horn. If nobody won't there, well, you coming home with me. And she'll call, and my mom and dad pick me up. But again, it's not. We don't raise our kids in the village no more.
I think that's what I'm dealing with now. One of my 2% children got kicked off the bus with 9 days of school left, and eating candy on the bus, I get it, but it's just like 5th referral. But he got 3 days kicked off the bus, and we don't have the bus drivers like Miss Haskins anymore. I feel to where they have that. You won't play with Miss Haskins, Miss.
Oh hell no!
None of them. You won't play with. Because first off, they knew your parents, and then your aunt, and they. It was your fault because you gonna get a spanking from them, and you get a spanking when you get home.
Right. I'll never forget. I was in the 12th grade. So Miss Haskins, what she would do, she would pull off to the side sometimes and let cars go. So I was in the 12th grade. I'm driving. So she pulls off. I didn't know what she was doing. So I figured she was doing. But then the bus lights came on. So when it came on, I already passed her. I'm like, oh, shoot. Next thing I know, 5 minutes, she comes zooming at my house. Oh, she ripped me a new one in front of my dad. And my dad, he didn't say nothing. He said, do what you do. Lay him out.
And you didn't see the bus lights, bro?
Huh? No, I saw him once I passed. I'm like, oh, damn. But she didn't call the police. She didn't do none of that. She said, oh, okay.
Hickory Road, a lady, when Elijah was in kindergarten, it was an old lady. Me, mom was like, you need to walk him out to the bus. I was like, no, he a man. He a kindergartner. My mom walked him out to the bus. This lady won't stop him, bro. This lady was almost under the stop sign when she stopped. And it's just like, it's so many different variables that you said it takes a bus driver, it takes a teacher, it takes an administrator, it takes a guidance counselor, it takes a parent, it takes a student, it takes a cafeteria person, janitor, it takes a maintenance person, it takes after school, it takes coaches, it takes ev- so many things to make all this stuff work. And y'all probably couldn't hear me because I had the mic away from my face, but
Yeah.
it just takes so many. It takes so many different stages of people for things to work: bus drivers, students, teachers, parents, cafeteria workers, janitors, all these different things.
Right.
And it's not enough support in the school system because why would I want to go be an educator, make $50,000 to $60,000 a year, deal with these students who parents don't even want to deal with them, and you get a reprieve 180 or however long school is a year, and then you get mad at me because your children are ill behaved? What would I do with this? Why would I just go somewhere and make $100,000 a year and be happy?
Right.
But I don't know. I've been, man. I don't know. I've been having visions of I was becoming a teacher.
Honestly, bro, it's not as bad as people think. I mean, it's not as bad. You hear the horror stories,
Yeah,
but you don't hear the reward stories. And I mean, I would say 90% of the kids are good. I mean, they're a little mischievous. Um, the issue for me is the lack of accountability in the parents. That's where I struggle. Like the parents, the parents don't want to. The parents don't want to be held responsible for nothing. They don't want to hold their kids responsible for nothing. And that's what the problem I got. Administrators want to always, cater to these parents because they scared. Like, fuck you scared for? Like, hmm?
because a Facebook post can get me fired now. Uh,
Well, and yeah, and that's what the parents do be saying. Well, I'll have your job, or I'll go to school. But I'm like, all right, let them know. Call them.
How?
I told them all. I said, okay, do it. My
But
mom
do they
was a
know they?
teacher. My mom was a teacher, and the first thing she said was, "Do not let no parent punk you."
Yeah,
And that's what I won't do. But I be seeing these teachers and administrators, they be scared of these parents. I'm like, what the fuck you scared for, man? This is why we got rules, man. So yeah, that's the one because I wanted to do admin, and I'm still thinking about doing it. But the politics, and I'm not a yes man. Like I will sit there
yes.
and tell these parents what the fuck is up, and won't think twice about it. Instead of sitting there saying, well, your child, he's a good kid, but no, little Johnny bad as fuck. You need to do something about him.
And the politics, man, the nonprofit world government, how much politics is behind stuff. I hate it. But
Mm-hmm.
you're right. These kids, man, is ain't no direction at home. Ain't no direction anywhere for them. They don't care
Right.
because, like you say, I mean, look at some of the attitudes of the parents.
Yeah. Yeah. I called this one boy parent one time because when you write him up, you gotta let the parents know.
Yeah.
And the parent was like, well, he at school, you deal with it. I'm like, I am dealing with it. I'm
Oh,
calling you. So I'm like, well, shit, you sending your child to school because you don't want to deal with them. And then they get in trouble. We sit there and tell the parents, hey, look, your child, he needs to do alternative school. He's not fit for public setting, but because you don't want to deal with him, this, that, and the third, and then he got kicked out of school. Now you mad. So what, Lady Ray Ray? I have a
I have
teacher
a
friend.
I have a teacher friend whose students' parents know she loves their kids, and they allow her to yank them up if she needs to.
Oh yeah, some parents are like that. I mean, it's not like that how it used to be back in the day. You might have a couple, but like it ain't like how it used to be where a majority of parents was like that.
That's what the bus driver. When the bus driver came to me the first time, he got in trouble. I said, "Man, do what you got to do." He said, "I don't want to give him a referral. I don't kick him." I said, "Man, do what you got to do. I'll
Mm-hmm.
figure out how to get him to school. And if I can't figure it out, he didn't go. Just like last Thursday. You
Right.
working? Sit in the bed. You sit
Mm-hmm.
here with me, my neighbor, and you sit in the
Mm-hmm.
bed and you
Mm-hmm.
think about life. But we done lost electronics for the summer because our grades and our attitude has not been good. So
Right.
I'm an old school father.
That's how it should be, man. Shout out to Lady Ray, by the way.
Sorry, I was drinking my liquid death. Shout out to Lady Ray. Thank you for subscribing to the channel as always. Liking, supporting, and watching the content. Um, Mallz has awarded you with a $25 gift card. play those closet. Um, we'll reach out to your people to get your information, and we'll send that right over to you.
Mhm.
But what else? You want to talk about your Tory Lane's research? Because I saw some research
Well,
today.
I was gonna speak on it, but I don't have enough evidence. So we all know Tory Lanez went to prison for gun possession and negligence, and then come to find out, some security guard of Meg Thee Stallion's best friend said that he wasn't the shooter; it was the best friend. And apparently Meg and the girl got into a fight for somebody fucked somebody, man. And Tory, she pulled out a gun. Tory Lanez tried to pull
Trigger.
trigger.
Sorry I'm late, fellas. My baseball game ran over a little bit.
No, you good. But so I don't know what's true because he said he heard them talk about it. What I'm sitting there thinking that's not really sufficient evidence. So that's why I didn't want to harp on it. So
Yeah, I saw the representative from Florida talk about it. Like in 36 hours, we're gonna release this over amount of evidence to prove his innocence. So I'm like, what? Why is a person from the United States Senate or House of Representatives worried about this? Like, what are we
right,
talking about? Let's worry about the big beautiful bill, okay?
right,
So I don't know, man. I'm with you. I'm just like, is this? I feel like everything that comes into the news and media today is just a distraction.
right. Yeah, I agree.
Like, I think. Trick, you watching basketball?
No, Yankees Rangers.
I don't know. I'm watching the basketball game. I'm in the kitchen cooking dinner for tomorrow. But my TV be loud all the time. My girl said my TV be loud. So,
I heard Trigger's loud.
hmm
Yeah, I'm watching baseball.
okay.
Why you do that
This
to
this
yourself,
will
man?
this
If you
will
watching the Red Sox,
yeah this will be over before the Wolves and the Thunder finish playing. So I'll tune into that when this one is done.
Hey, shout out to Wop, man. Wop, I just got back from Wop House. That man cooked the meanest cheeseburger I've ever had. Left a
Wow.
little pink in the middle. Huh?
that's how you like it.
Yeah.
All right, let's get it going, fellas. I was trying to stall till I found the video, but I found it.
Mhm.
Here we go.
Yeah, check it. Listen up, we're making noise. Strictly Sports Podcast, bringing all the toys. We wise, Mallz and Trigga, we the three wise men. Dropping knowledge, breaking records, it's our mission, man. From the field to the court, we cover it all. No topic too big, no team too small. We analyze, we debate, we bring that heat. Strictly Sports crew, taking over the beat. Strict.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Strictly Sports. I'm B Wise.
I need some milk.
I'm triggered.
And we are back with another episode of Strictly Sports. We got a jam-packed episode for y'all today. How y'all doing, fellas?
Fantastic.
I need some chocolate milk, baby.
You got some, brother.
RG3,
What
you
you
ain't
talking about?
alone. I need some chocolate milk, though.
Why y'all not talking about nothing? We was talking about everything serious. Not Michelle. Hey, we can't talk about. We ain't talking about. We ain't. Hey,
What happened?
this is strictly
That's
sports now.
my
This is strictly sports now. This is strictly sports. Strictly
Hey,
sports.
shout out to my boy Shannon Sharp, man. We miss you, Unc.
shout
We
out,
still do not have, man.
shout out to Michelle. 'Cause Michelle looked like she took a punishment that night, boy.
Hey,
Yeah.
Michelle. I wonder if that's the Michelle that's we ain't gonna talk about it.
Yeah,
But let's get into it. All right. Mouse, you got a message for the people today.
yeah, man. Mine's is gonna be, a little more serious from the heart. Parents, stop taking youth league sports so serious. Um, it's getting ridiculous out here. As y'all know, I officiate football. I refuse to do little league anymore. It is getting ridiculous. These parents do not know how to act. It's never the kids. It's always the adults. You got dads out here thinking their child is gonna be the next big thing. You don't know what your child gonna be at 7 years old. He's just the biggest one on the team, or he's the fastest one on the team. You don't know what he's gonna be. Let the coaches coach. Let the refs rep. I remember I did the chain crew for my girlfriend's son one time, and the coach he's trying to coach the kids up. The dad walks onto the field, interrupts the coach, and yells at his son about you need to do this better, you need to do that. Let the coach coach. If you want to coach that so bad, you need to coach with it. I tell parents all the time, classes start in June, and then they shut the hell up. Like, if you want to be a coach, want to be a ref, then do it inside the fence. Don't do it outside. But, y'all are causing a major problem. Sitting there, putting your kids in all this AAU stuff. I got one grandma who got her son on 3 football teams, 3 tackle football teams.
Oh, gosh.
I'm like, grandma, that is too much football. He gonna have a brain of an 80-year-old by the time he turned 18.
Yep.
Like, it's just too much football. But yeah, you parents, y'all are doing too much with this youth league football, man. That's it. I don't want to linger on.
Appreciate Brother Mallz for the message.
Yeah. Rangers managers got tossed.
Uh-oh.
Mm.
That means the Yankees.
Kind of weird. It's kind of weird seeing another manager get tossed and not Aaron Boone. He's cut that down this year, though. I give him credit. He's not getting thrown out. I think he's only got ejected twice this season so far. I could be wrong, but I feel like Boone's been more level-headed this year.
Oh, before you get into your trick and rant, Trigger, everybody who's watching, I am outside because our bedroom, something happened with the circuits, and the show must go on. So I am thugging it out outside with A Bug's Life and all them. We out here. I got my incense burning and my bug spray. So my bad, Trigger.
We know why his electric ain't working in the bedroom. Him and his wifey, they get real nasty in there.
I spilled some milk in the outlets.
I bet you did spill some milk in the outlets.
Hey, look, it's 2% too. It ain't chocolate. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Trigger.
Oh, you good? So my rant, freaking Anthony Volpe. I'm trying to get this man so many chances. I cannot watch this man swing the baseball bat anymore without just knowing it's going to be an automatic out. He is in that territory now. He is an automatic out anytime it comes to play. The last game and the last series against the Mets, this man had the bases loaded 2 times. The Yankees also had outs, 2 outs, both times. And the last time they had the bases loaded with him at bat with 2 outs, this man swung at 3 straight pitches outside of the zone. And didn't come close to hitting either one of them. Ended up striking out at the plate, inning over. Like, dude, you got to do something. Like, I know you can't hit a sac fly in a situation because we got the 2 outs, but you got to get the ball in play, man. You got to get it in play. You got to do something to help this team. You can't have the bases loaded twice and not give us 1 run. But it's been like that all season, man. This man comes up to the bat, and here you go again, right on cue. The Yankees have 2 men on with 2 outs. I guarantee you, I know how this was going to end. He is live right now at the plate. But anywho, I watch this man play, and he's got a good swing on him. He plays shortstop really good, okay. But even then on defense, there's been several opportunities this year where the Yankees had time to turn double plays, and this man can't come up with the ball clean. He's always bobbling it, fumbling around with it, and he's allowing runners to get on base safely because he can't field the ball and get it out of his glove in enough time to turn 2 plays. But it's happening too much. His at-bats suck more than his defense. His defense is better than his batting. But for him to be in this role, he was a leadoff hitter last year. They took him out of that role, not long after the season started because he was bad. And he had stretches last year where he was just up and down. Like, he would go through stretches where he would just be terrible. And the Yankees would rest him for a day or 2, and then they put him back out there, and he seemed to do better after that. Then they go right back downhill again. And they take him out the lineup again and, give him another day or 2 of rest, and they come back in again. And then the same thing happened. He started off good and then he just started declining. So it's the same cycle. I think he is what he is going to be at this point. I don't see him getting any better or any worse. He is plateaued, and the Yankees just have to, take what he gives us when he gives it to us. But other than that, he's an automatic out who is not very sure-handed on the defensive side of the ball. But it's frustrating watching him play. More so watching him bat. There he is right now. He's got a 2-2 count. Let's see what happens now. That hit the ground. That hit the ground.
You're tuned in live to Trigger watching Yankees baseball here on the Strictly Sports Network.
Y'all ain't gonna believe this. This man is putting in an RBI. He must have heard me talking about him.
Look at the
But
Trigger.
that's
See,
still, but look, hey, I still don't know that you're gonna have to do a lot more than that. You're gonna do a lot more than that. You're gonna have to do a lot more than just that just now. It's about time we come up with something. What's your question, Lady Ray?
why don't he coach your question, Lady Ray? Or you have another question? Do 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 do.
Is that the
Hold on.
question? Why I don't coach?
Yeah, that's why. Is that the question? If you here, if you ain't here, she may not be here. Oh, there she go. That's the question.
Okay. Yeah, it's just not for me. It's a different element. Um, I'm more of a doer. I'm more of a guy that likes to go out and execute. I'm not good about giving direction and scheming and doing all the other stuff. That's too much brain power for me. I'm not that smart. I mean, I can get the basics, but when it comes to like being strategic, when it comes to like basketball particularly, and I'd say basketball, even though I just gave a baseball rant, I'm talking basketball because that's what I know. I know that better than any other sport. Um, it's just different. It's a different environment. It's different being out there on the court versus on the sideline trying to get guys through something, right? So that's just it for me. It's two different mindsets. I'm not saying that I'm stupid, like I don't know much or I can't get through it, or um I wouldn't be a bad coach, but it's too much like me, like I just don't have the patience for it because I be wanting to get out there and try to fix it myself, not trying to tell people to do it. I'll be ready to just suit up and go out there. Like I'm just too impatient. I just know how I
Jackie
am.
Moon.
Like even just watching sports at home on the couch, yelling at the TV screen. I just know I can't because a lot of these players, especially when it comes to basketball, they get damn. They get longer leashes than I would give as a coach because you only got one time to screw up. You miss a free throw, you coming out. And I don't care if you Shaquille O'Neal. Like that's
All right, Pat
that's the kind of
Riley.
things I do. I'm a little too like I said, I'm not afraid to admit I'm a little too emotional when it comes to, coaching things. Like, something go wrong a couple times in a row. Like granted they could be very small. I'm ready to pull dudes out the game. Like that's just how I am. Like, you're gonna be in there, you gotta be perfect. Like and I can do what I can to try to get you there or get you close to it. But again, I know I have very short patience. I'm not going to let stuff ride out and kind of see if the guys can fix it themselves because I'm gonna take them out the game before they get a chance to. And I know by all means that's not the right thing to do, which means I probably wouldn't be best suited to be a coach. Now, could I learn to be patient over time? Sure, because it's easy for me to sit on my couch, or sit on the bench or sit in the stands and direct traffic and say what I would do or wouldn't do as a coach. But being on the sideline, being in it, actually, being invested in that role, um, that's different. And even though I probably would start off making emotional decisions, both with personnel and with play calling, I think over time I will learn to be more patient, but I just don't. I just can't like you know. I don't know. I'm too impatient and just again, I just don't have the mind to scheme or strategize like certain people. Like, I don't think the game. I just go out and play. I just kind of let things come to me. Yeah, some players do need that. Some players need to be yanked, when they do something. But it honestly depends on what it is. Um, like if I can use a baseball analogy, like if a pitcher throws, if he walks two batters in a row, I'll be ready to pull him out the game. But you know, you got to give him a chance to work it out, especially if it's early, right? You don't want to exhaust your bullpen, too soon. So yes, he walks two pitchers, or he walks two batters, no outs. That's a tough situation to be in. Now I get emotional, be hot, and ready to take him out the game, but I know that's not what he needs because, even though he walked two guys, you know, he can still get through the inning without giving up a run. Um, but if that same, let's take another player who they say he pulls a Juan Soto, he hits a ball, thinks it's a home run, and he's like jogging to first base. All of a sudden, it hits off the wall. It's not a home run, and instead of turning that into a double, now he only gets to first base. And then I'll probably take him out the game because you're not hustling, right? So that's something right there. That's something that you can't teach. Like you gotta, I would yank a guy quick for that. But if a guy's out there trying and he, puts guys on base, I can't just be so quick to yank him out the game. So those situations are different. And basketball is the same way. I can't really think of an example right now. But like, if a guy comes in, I know if a guy comes in who don't shoot threes and he starts jacking threes, I'm taking him out the game. That's not what you do. That's not how you play. You need to come out until you do what you're supposed to be doing. If I'm putting in a guy who does shoot threes and he's jacking them, but he's missing them, I'm gonna leave him because I know he can make that shot, and he's good at making that shot. So I'm not gonna take him out if he misses three in a row because he's a good shooter and he's just not making it. All shooters go through stretches where they don't make shots. You just can't pull them out the game because they're missing. But I can pull a guy out the game for attempting the shot that he doesn't normally make or even take. But you don't practice the shot. Why you wait till you get in the game and start shooting threes?
So, Coach
So
Trigga,
those would be the things I'll be good at as far as coaching, like seeing those type of things. Like I know who my shooters are. They have the green light to shoot. As long as they're not bad shots, they have the green light to shoot. If you're not a shooter and you come in pulling from Steph Curry range, you're coming out. Like we're not gonna do that. But
period.
when it comes, but see the difference between me being a coach and when it comes into trying to scheme and get plays open for my shooter, that's where I feel like my IQ is not, at the highest to keep doing that over and over again throughout a game to get my best shooter uh, good looks and making adjustments when the other team adjust to, you know, my game plan or my play or whatever it is. So that's the difference between me, being like I know where to draw the line when it comes to me coaching versus me playing. So I'm good when it comes to like disciplinary stuff, but when it comes to strategy and trying to get my best players looks, I don't, I probably could draw up something here or there, but other coaches are going to adjust to it eventually. But then it's up to me to counter that, and I don't know if I can. So
Wonderfully, wonderfully stated, Trigger. Because that just means to me that you are better fit to be an owner. And that brings me to our segue for our first segment. NFL's owner meetings are going on right now. The NFL owners passed a resolution 32-0 on Tuesday at the Spring League meeting that will allow league players to try out to participate in flag football during the 2028 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles. What's your thoughts, fellas?
I like it. I hate that it's not tackle football because I feel like these guys play a little different when it comes to flag versus contact. But I get it. It's safety. You know, um, you don't want to. It's a long off season, and that's right in the middle of training camp too. So like,
Yeah.
it's a long off season, but like you don't want guys to come in, while training camp is going on. They go overseas for the Olympics, and they're playing in pads and stuff and hitting, and somebody ends up getting hurt. Um, so I think it's a good compromise. We get to see our athletes go over there. They won't be fully suited up like we're accustomed to seeing them on a Sunday, but it's something, and I'm happy. I would be, willing to do it if I was a NFL player and I was really good.
Look,
Um, but I know Justin
I,
Jefferson was very excited about it. The opportunity to play for a gold medal. So, hey, I'm with it. I'm excited to see it. I hope it turns into a spectacle and it actually is one of the bigger events at the Olympics, being that it'll be brand new.
I'm all for it. I don't want to see NFL players. We're the only country. We're the only country in this world that plays tackle football. It's gonna be a blowout. I would rather see maybe amateurs do it than NFL players. Because I mean who the fuck's gonna be able to stop Patrick Mahomes, Justin Jeffersons,
That's
and
what we
fucking
want.
Croatia?
it's only one player per team. You got to have a designated international player. It's only one player per team, so that means 32 players.
I mean,
So that it's only one player. So I didn't finish it. A maximum of one player from each team will be allowed to participate, and each club's designated international player is also permitted to take part for his country.
oh, okay.
So what if I don't know who, like a Jordan. I was gonna say Jordan Malata, but he's not somebody that play flag. But I can't think of nobody. Everybody American.
Then that's my point. I mean,
That's
you got
good.
some.
Good. Another gold medal for us then.
No, we
Don't
be
give a
losing in
damn.
flag. Hey, I think I was watching one of them. Italy beat us in like the World Flag Championship or whatever. There's some teams that play flag football.
Okay, well, yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah, some
competitive.
they be
Good.
playing,
Okay, you ain't gonna
Yeah,
but
get
but,
I'm
yeah,
picked
ready
on,
but
but
for it.
that's
but
fine.
but are they professional football players?
I mean, some of them were before. Some of them, it's just some of them are doing it. I guess like Euro League is for some players, not like big names, but some people who I may have made it to a practice squad or I played like 2 3 years. I know I saw at least one or two that was like that went to play flag football for a different country. I mean, it's a big thing. I didn't know it's as big as it was because I mean, it's huge. It's huge. So they're starting to put flag football in schools. I think we might have a professional flag football league here soon too. But I think the owners are also looking at it. I'm sorry, I took over your spot, Miles, but
No, you
I think I think the owners are also looking at it short term because it's in LA the next time. So for at least 8 years, they're not gonna have to worry about them traveling overseas to do it. So I'll be interested to see in 2032 if the feeling is still the same, especially when some of these contracts may be $1 billion.
good. Right.
So let's see. Yeah, like you say with Patrick Mahomes, yeah, that's cool. But and when Patrick Mahomes making $78 million a year, are we gonna let him go out there and throw his shoulder out playing flag football?
Right. In the middle of training camp.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I think with it being flag football, it'll be a little bit safer for these guys.
yeah, I think so.
But
Let me
I'm
see
looking
if they.
forward to it.
I'm looking forward to flag football, like you were saying in the Olympics in general.
Hmm.
Let's see. So they haven't voted on it yet. I'm trying to see. So NFL owners set to vote on tush push ban and new playoff format.
I don't even know why the
So
tush push thing is even being included, man. If
I think
y'all
if they
y'all tired of it, stop it. Stop letting them get in the fourth and short, third and short, and all that. Just freaking stop it. If it was such a problem, everybody be able to do it, right?
that's true.
The Eagles the only team that's
I agree with
successful with it.
Trigger.
Everybody else that try to do it ain't as successful as they are with it. Stop it.
I agree with Trigger. If this was a safety issue, okay. But I think this is more
It's
so
not.
we don't know how to stop it.
Yep.
And I'm a Cowboys fan, so I see this twice a year.
Yep.
Um, that is ridiculous. And then to make it a 10-yard penalty, it's ridiculous, man. What are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah.
These
Imagine
coaches are
doing
getting
something.
paid millions. These coaches are getting paid millions of dollars to figure out how to stop something. Stop it.
How do you enforce it? Like, how do we justify? I mean, I saw the ruling that they had in it, but how do you justify
So in
accusing
high
someone?
school, we have this thing called where you can push the runner. You can't. No, you can push the pile, but you can't push the runner.
Okay,
So I mean, if you see him push the runner, but I mean, but then again, I guess so. What it would be is you just can't have those two running backs push Jalen Hurts. So you know how they have the formation, and you see the two running
yeah,
backs come back. Yeah, you just can't have that.
and I saw that they can't. They want them that they can't wrap like
Mhm.
rugby style too around another
Yeah,
player.
but if you look at it, them pushing does not help. What
Yeah,
helps is the offensive line and Jalen Hurts can squat 700 pounds.
yeah. Like,
Him getting pushed
I
in the rear end has nothing to do with the tush push. It's Jalen Hurts is hella strong, and the Philadelphia Eagles got the best offensive line in the league.
and yeah, that's if the Eagle. If you look at it, the line he got the yards by the line. Like the ball hiked is done with.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Like it's that line is just engaged, and
yeah,
I mean that shows the international game coming into our game to where
mhm,
Malata then showed them something that
yeah.
is
So
unbeatable.
all you're doing is you're messing up the other teams because they probably have to push the quarterback where the Philadelphia Eagles and the Buffalo Bills don't. They have strong ass quarterbacks with big
And
ass
Carolina
offensive
Panthers.
line. Bryce, I'm the size of Bryce Young. Chill
Bryce Young could probably walk up under the foul and get it.
Hey, forget both of y'all.
out.
King Bryce on top.
Oh, and as far as the
First down.
playoff season, y'all already know how I feel about it. I've been harping about this since November. I want to see the change. I feel like you should be rewarded for having a better record than winning your division.
Yeah, 'cause you win
So
your division, you're going to make the playoffs automatically. You're just not going to get the top seed if
Yeah.
the second place team of another division has a better record than you.
So what I see is like you scroll down B wise.
hold on, I'm about to take the let me get this banner off and I'm going back to it.
Okay.
All right. So this is Mike Garafolo on Twitter, X. This is how the playoffs would have looked if it would have been the new proposed seating.
Minnesota, I think Minnesota would have beat. Go back up.
Oh,
I think Minnesota would have beat Tampa Bay at Minnesota, and Washington would have beat Green, which Washington's NFC Championship anyway. And I think the Chargers would have beat the Texans if they played in LA.
I don't think Minnesota beats Tampa Bay the way they came out and looked. It's Sam Darnold.
But they're playing in Minnesota in that dome, and you know how loud it gets in there.
Ain't nobody worried about that.
Okay, all right.
Ain't nobody worried about that. Ain't nobody worried about that.
But my thing of it is, the wouldn't Minnesota would have been the 2 seed, and the Eagles would have been the 3 seed.
One strength of victory tiebreaker over Minnesota. Eagles would have been 2.
But the Vikings had a better record, though.
This is what they saying it would have been.
Okay, I mean, all right, I'm with you. But yeah,
Hey, I'm hoping Mike Garafolo and all them verified it, but they got it specifically one SOV tiebreaker over Minnesota, strength of victory. So I guess it was something close.
and remember the Rams were close to beating the Eagles in the divisional round.
Yeah,
So
Rams a good team though.
yeah, they were a good team. I think if it weren't for the snow, they might have crept up on Philly.
That goes back to what you said though. Also, to what y'all say that home field advantage. If Philly didn't have that home field advantage, say at that time, does LA win?
Yeah,
But also with teams like what Buffalo's keeping their roof open, but I think Cleveland's building a dome.
I don't
Um,
understand that. I don't get it. But
I don't
like
think
a lot of these
Cleveland's
teams are building
is it a
domes.
dome in Cleveland?
I think they were. I thought I saw they were building a dome.
Oh, they are building one. Okay,
I
No,
don't
it's
know.
not one now. No, the new one's gonna be a dome. I think.
okay, I got you. So I
I think they won
didn't think
Super
the one they
Bowl.
played in now was a dome.
Yeah, I think. Hold on, new stadium. I saw somebody talking about it. Yep, they got a dome on it.
The one they're building.
Yeah, let me share it. Right here. This is the one they shared renderings on what they're proposing. Is this one right here?
Huh.
Super Bowl. They want the Super Bowl. Everybody wants Super Bowl.
Oh, okay, well, that makes sense.
If I get a dome, I get a Super Bowl. Unless I'm Miami or Tampa or San Francisco.
Yeah. But I don't think you're gonna get a Super Bowl once every 10 years?
Does Dallas? When is the last time Dallas had one?
2010 or 2011 when the Packers beat the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't they beat y'all that year in that stadium? That was
the
Bruce Carter year. Okay.
2017. I was at that game when they beat Dallas in the playoffs.
I'm sorry, brother. You gonna be at that game this year when Carolina beat Dallas too?
Nope, I'm gonna be at home in my drawers.
All right, you gonna be there. It'll be square. All right, NBA playoffs. So,
Boy done jumped off the Knicks bandwagon. You ain't want to push your luck this round.
I mean, we ain't gonna talk about it. I said Knicks in 6, but I mean, people call me crazy. They ain't listen to me.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. And I would do
and
it
I want to
again,
say,
too.
and I want to say, did I pick the Pacers in our first episode this season to be in the finals?
I think you picked
One of my
them to
15.
be. I don't know. I know you picked them to beat Cleveland.
You got to go back and look. I don't remember that.
Hey, I said the Pacers too. Hey. So I'm just saying. I mean, I see the Pacers beating New York. I think the Pacers are a better team than the Celtics were. Celtics are hot. I'm not gonna say a better team. I'm gonna say the Celtics. If they're not hitting threes, they're not hitting threes. It's a different team. I don't think the Pacers are gonna go up by 20 and let the Knicks come back. But I think it's gonna be a 7-game series.
You think so?
I think it's gonna be a 7-game series.
I
hope it's a
I need to see what Cat can do. I need to see if Cat dominates. The Knicks win. Yeah. But I got a question for an episode down the line too. I want us to explore. Why is Tyrese Halliburton not looked at as the face of the league? He's a gold medalist. He's taken Indiana back from the brink of extinction. I think him and Caitlin Clark in Indiana is going to be good for basketball. But let's go back to where we were. NBA playoffs. I got if we get Cat, and if I get, I don't know, Jalen Brunson too. Tyrese Halliburton and Jalen Brunson going to be a good matchup. It's going to depend on everybody else. Pascal Siakam, all the supporting Cat. Oh, I got Mikal Bridges though. I'm going to Pacers. I'm still going to Pacers.
Motherfucker swung so hard at that pitch, he threw his damn bat down. His bat.
You going with the Pacers?
Yeah, and I think OKC gentlemen sweeps Minnesota.
I got the Pacers in 6. I don't know, man. I just OKC. There's some about them I just don't trust. They can beat you by 40 with their relentless defense, but then there's just some games you don't know what the hell they doing.
Well, I think the key to beating them is not turn the ball over.
Yeah.
If Minnesota can value the basketball, limit turnovers, they give themselves a chance.
Yeah. But if you look at that game 7, I mean, what Oklahoma City had over 30 fast break points?
That's what I'm saying. Don't turn the ball over.
Yeah, that is unheard of. Yeah, I just SGA, he's good, but I just can't put my thumb on him. He's too inconsistent. I
don't know if I'd go that far.
Yeah, he he can get to the free throw line, but
that last game he only shot 9 free throws.
They only 9 free throws. That's a lot.
No, but compared to what he normally get, he had 35 points, I think, something like that. 35 on the shot. He was 8 for 9 from the line. He went like 12 for 19 from the field, so he was very efficient.
I got you. But what I will say is, I love where the NBA is heading. Mike Greenberg, he made a comment today about how the super team era is officially over. I'm so excited to hear that. It's time for these general managers to stop being lazy. Stop signing 3 superstars and then sign everybody else to mid-level contracts. Like compete. I've always said, you just need either a top tier superstar and a low tier all star, or a low tier superstar and a high tier all star, and you surround them with good role players. This is going to make the NBA fun. This is going to make
Boston.
the NBA more watchable. Everybody's team has a chance. Hell, my Detroit Pistons, they could have won the fucking series if they could know how to close, and they've been ass for 20 years. Um, I think this is great for the
This is
NBA. We
true.
have had 7 different champions in 7 different years, where before that, 7 teams won damn near 80% of the NBA championships. Um, this is what the NBA needs. I know Trigger. We're gonna get into the whole Aaron Gordon comment, but I think the NBA. This is I don't know what Adam Silver did to with the collective bargaining, but this was a great move. This is great for the NBA, and I think it will go back to how it was in the '90s and early 2000s when the NBA was really the NBA back
Yeah,
in the Jordan.
I do like the competitiveness nature of it. Like more teams being in the hunt for a championship now, rather than just being 2 or 3 every year that we're looking at. All right, these are the favorites. Forget the other 27 teams. Now that opens up a little bit more. Um, I'm not opposed to super teams either because I know that's been the way of the world the last you know 10, 15 years now. But I would much rather see the competition split up and like these general managers building these teams up. Like I said, the Boston Celtics were the perfect example because you got Jason Tatum, who's your superstar. You got Jalen Brown, who's kind of like that mid tier or right up under him. He's not quite get the same praise that Jason Tatum gets, but he's your your number two. And they got a team full of guys who just play their roles very, very well. They got a great two-way player in Drew Holiday who shuts down the other team's best player, and he can give you a little something on offense as well. You got Kristaps Porzingis
Trash.
manning the middle and being a rim protector. Al Horford brings you defense and shot making. Derek
Jacqueline.
White stretches the floor.
His name
Sam Hauser
Conklin.
stretches the floor.
He's
Um, who else am I missing? I mean, the Celtics had a deep roster. Like I said, with the healthy Tatum, I think that series with the Knicks, you know, maybe it's a little more competitive, maybe it's different. I don't know, but the Celtics are spitting image of that. The Cleveland Cavaliers, same way. Donovan Mitchell is your superstar player. Darius Garland, next tier up under him. And then you got a bunch of guys that play their roles very well. You got guys who play defense and protect the rim, and you got shooters. So those are two teams right there. You look at OKC, Shai's your star. Everybody else is a role player. Um, Minnesota, Anthony Edwards is your star. Julius Randle's right there up under him. Everybody else is really good role players. Um, the Pacers. I
Oh
mean,
no,
would
Trigger, let me
you
cut you off. Is Julius Randle the All Star or Rudy Gobert?
Julius
Okay.
You
Julius
say Rudy
because
Gobert?
Julius has been an absolute monster. Like he's been a very consistent number two option behind Ant. I
Okay.
mean, he can give you 32 at any given time. Rudy Gobert, I'm just looking for defense and rebounds. If he scores, we'll take it. But his role, his importance to the team for me is defense and rebounding. That's all I need for him. Anthony Edwards can score. Julius Randle can score. Alexander Walker can score. DiVincenzo come off the bench. He can score. We got a bunch of guys who can put the ball in the rim. I need him and Nas Reed to defend and rebound. And that's what they do.
I will
But
also add, if you to be, the superstar and the all star, one has to be a big and one has to be a little. You can't have 2 guards as a superstar and the all star. A la you see with Cleveland, and that's why they asses at home.
They got Evan Mobley though.
Well, he ain't acting
Defensive
like
player
Yeah,
of the year.
yeah. Evan Mobley and what's the other? Jared Allen.
Jared Allen. Yeah.
Yeah, they got
Jared
guys to
Allen.
anchor. Yeah, they got
I
guys
would
to anchor
say.
the paint, and they got Darius Garland can shoot, Max Strus can
Yep.
shoot, um, Ty Jerome can shoot.
Yeah.
Jared Allen, like he was off NBA Street.
DeAndre Hunter, forgot about him. He can
Yeah,
shoot
DeAndre Hunter. That was a big trade.
and he can defend.
They just weren't ready for the Pacers. No, they ain't play the
Yeah,
Pacers. They played the Pacers.
yeah.
Yeah,
It
he
was
played
the
for.
Pacers. They
Yeah, they
lost in
played the
five.
Pacers.
Yeah, they got yeah. I think that whole Cleveland lost that series game too, and
Oh yeah.
people like to say that it was luck or whatnot, but I look at it like this because the way that game ended, like Tyrese Halliburton made a decision to try to go for the win. Like they could have absolutely been fine losing that game because they had already won game one. They did their job. If you're the road team coming in those first two games, your objective primarily is to steal one game, which they did. He decided he saw opportunity. He shot a free throw. They missed the box out. He got his own rebound, went behind the 3-point line, and was like, if I make this shot, we win this game. We go up 2-0. If I miss it, who cares? We already won the first one. We did what we got to do. We still got home court. So there was no pressure at all when he shot that 3-pointer.
Yeah.
None whatsoever. Because he knew the stakes. If I make it, we win. If I miss it, we still win. We're going back to Indiana with a 1-1 lead. Like we still got home court. So he happened to make that shot, and they took a 2-0 lead. And I think that right there, that was the first nail in the coffin for Cleveland. And then obviously the injuries happened. They had three important players miss time, and that obviously played a role. But again, they beat this team when they were healthy too. So, I can't say it was all based on injury. Maybe it would have been a 6 or 7 game series if everybody was healthy.
Look at the way Trigger went into our next segue.
If everybody was healthy. So, you want to go into the Aaron Gordon?
Yeah, since we talking
Do
about
we,
injuries.
do we want to watch
Let's
what
touch
he
on
said?
that. Yeah, let's touch on. Yeah,
We want to watch it.
Yeah, we play it
How
for the
many
people at home who didn't see. But yeah, I saw the interview.
I would really, really appreciate it if there were a couple of days in between games in the playoffs instead of every other day. Regardless if you go 7 games, and I understand if you do your work early and you get first seed, then you can have time off. But I think the days in between games, not just off day and a travel day, but a travel day and a recovery day, just 2 days. I think the product of the game would be a lot better. I think there'd be just a better product on the floor, just to give all these professional athletes just one more day of rest, and you would see a higher level of basketball, probably less blowouts.
Yeah, I think he's got a point.
So let me pose a question then off that point. So I was thinking about this. Looking at the WNBA schedule, college basketball schedule, would the NBA benefit from doing that and maybe reducing their in-season schedule to 72 games?
I think it's plausible. But then here's the question. Then you tell the players, look, you're gonna make less money. Are they gonna be okay with that? I don't think. I think the real issue is the style of play. The game is so much faster now. It ain't back in the 90s and early 2000s where, they used up all 24 seconds of the shot clock. The games were played in the 80s, the 80 point, 90 point range. And you were considered a good offensive team if you scored 100 points. Now everybody's scoring 100 points. I think the style of play is too fast. It's too much. It's too many possessions. And that's why players are getting hurt. That's why you have load management. If they slow the pace of the game down, I think that will cut down on the injuries. because they've always played. They've always done it like this, and we haven't had injuries like it was now. And players weren't as athletic, and you didn't have the technology as you did back then. So I don't know if it's about the travel. I think it's more so the style of play. Um, because and you're gonna have to reduce the games because if you don't, it'd be fucking July and August till the NBA season ends. So I think it's the style of play.
Yeah, I think a good solution just to if they were to keep the 82 games just so they keep making the money and they're losing their money is that maybe you start the season a little bit earlier in October rather than like the end of October. Maybe start like mid October or maybe even before then, and that way when playoff time comes, they can have those days in between those games like Aaron Gordon was talking about, and then the season won't go past what it normally would in mid June after the NBA Finals. Um, I do like the idea of cutting back games too because the bad thing about that obviously would be loss of revenue. However, I think the games would be more competitive. I think guys would miss less time because 82 games is a lot, and given the style of play like you mentioned, so many possessions in the game, they're playing fast pace, like that takes a toll on the body a lot faster. I think if you cut out a few of those games and then create some extra rest in between playoff games, that will absolutely be beneficial in the injury department. We probably won't see as many injuries, and also again, you won't stretch the season too far, or you can start the season like you normally would in October, maybe even November, even a longer break with the 72 games, and then you start the playoffs in like late March or something like that, and you can take those 2 days in between games.
Um, well, and I that's a good point. But here's the only thing I think you're gonna run into, Trigger. If you start the season early
Let's
October,
go. My bad,
then you're
Judge, hit a
going to
home run.
be interfering with the MLB playoffs. And if you start the NBA playoffs in late March, then you're going to be interfering with the NCAA tournament. Do you really want to compete with those? With
Well,
that?
see, the thing is though, with if they started with the NCAA tournament, if they started their playoffs in late March, like tournaments are almost over at that point because championship games first week of April. So they're not going to be competing with them for long. And really, it'll just be one weekend when they have the round of 64 and the round of 32 when they got all these games on TV. So even then, if the NBA games, we got NBA games on when March Madness is happening anyway, right now. So I don't think it's going to, the NBA is going to lose out on anything um, as much when it comes to that. So,
So
but
hold on,
when it
wait.
comes to baseball,
Mhm.
that might be different. You might have to give up something here or there um, if you want to try to protect your players.
Okay.
So I mean, you kind of weigh your options. Like you're not gonna get it all. You're not gonna have a season where you're not interfering with football or baseball or March Madness. Somebody's gonna have to take a loss somewhere.
Okay.
But if you leave
I don't
everything
know.
as it is with the fast pace of play, and you add another game in or add another day in between playoff games now with an 82 game schedule, yes, the season would take forever to end. Um, but I think, like the NFL has been adding games, I think the NBA could take away games to try to make things better and keep guys less injured.
What if you replace those 10 games possibly? You do the NBA Cup. What if we start the season a little bit early and in the middle of the season, All Star Week break, we do an actual NBA in season tournament to where you give the players a break for maybe a month, but their break is, hey, it's NBA All Star Weekend and it's the NBA in season tournament to where you can have the NBA in season tournament championship be at All Star Weekend as well.
I
I'm
think
just
a month. I think a month might be too long. I think we saw that with COVID when players had 4 or 5 months
you
and
still playing
not.
NBA game. You playing your NBA tournament. So a month is you're not back to backs. It's you're playing group games. You're playing NBA championship playoffs, all that kind of stuff. And like how soccer does it.
Okay.
How soccer, they'll have tournaments inside the season like we do with the NBA season tournament, but your own focus would just be on this tournament right now.
I mean, it's
Not
worth
like
a
you're getting a
shot.
break,
It's worth a shot.
but I mean, because like y'all said, it's NBA. What is it? If you stagger it, that way you're not competing with NHL no more too. So you let NHL have a little bit of room to breathe as well.
I just think too much NBA might not be a good thing. You're talking about from October to June. So what's that? 8 months?
You talking about burnout from people watching it, or are you talking
Yeah,
about?
burnout for people watching. I just think 8 months for a sport. I mean, well, baseball does it too, but that is
But
a long time.
you realize you got G League and Summer League right after the season,
And
and
then
then
my
when they
thing
do
of it,
Euro League,
and then you got to think. Then you got training camp. So so
mhm,
technically, you're talking about September. Are the players going to want this? But now, they already don't have no time with their families. Now they're going to really have no time with their families. So are the players going to even want this?
it's gonna have to come.
Yeah,
I
that's
think it's
where
gonna
it's gonna
have to come
all.
down to the
Yeah,
partnership, like the league. I like how the players talk about me and the league are partners. It's not a bank. We're a partner. We're both in this together, and I love how it's. If we grow the game, we grow our pockets at the same time. So yeah, I think it needs to be a decision or a conversation, especially with the money around streaming. I think I- it's tough. How much money do we need?
Mhm.
yeah, that's the thing, man. It's like once you get a taste of it, it's like you gotta have more, gotta have more, gotta have more.
Mm.
So we will definitely be keeping up with that. And all right, let's dive into it, fellas. Um, what do y'all think about the Angel Reese Caitlin Clark
I think it's
rivalry?
blown
What's
out of
going on?
proportion. I think it's blown out of proportion. Um, and so what I saw was Angel Reese. I guess she was fighting for position for a rebound. She uh, slung the girl across the floor. Caitlin Clark wanted a foul. She didn't get the foul. Angel Reese got the ball, and I guess Clayton, from the frustration from the foul not being called, um, and just stopping Angel Reese from putting up the basket, she did a hard foul. It kind of looked like Angel Reese flopped to me. It looked like Angel Reese flopped, and she just overreacted. And they have history. If it was Angel Reese and Sophie Cunningham, this wouldn't even be an issue. But because it's Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, speaking of Sophie Cunningham, did y'all hear what happened with her? That is crazy.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
Someone's in trouble,
yeah,
trouble,
but
trouble.
see, women are messy. That goes back to my message last week. But
They was
I don't
drinking
think
all
it'll
the
be
milk
an
over
issue,
there.
man. I think it's blown out proportion. I don't think Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark, as RG3 stated. Um, might be some jealousy or might be some frustration that Angel Reese gets all the vitriol, and Caitlin Clark is like the great white hope. Even though I mean, I don't know. I think it's blown out proportion, me personally. But everybody's got to have something to talk about.
yeah. And I think you just said it right there. That's exactly why they blew this out of proportion, so they could have something to talk about with the WNBA. It's all just to increase viewership and just put a story out there to make people want to watch. Um, but the actual play itself, I don't think there was anything dirty done on both ends. It was just a hard foul. Angel Reese obviously took exception, and I think all of her anger, jealousy, and all that came out in that one bit right there when Caitlyn did what she did. So, anyways, I like Angel's answer after the game when they interviewed her. They asked her about it, obviously trying to drum up some more stuff in the media, and Angel gave him a nice short answer, and like ref got it right, move on. And I
Mm-hmm.
think Caitlin Clark kind of said something similar when she asked or answered the question when she was asked about it. So I like the way they both handled it. They were both very professional, and it's just stuff like that happens in the game of basketball on the hardwood.
Can I be?
And I think because like Mal said, those two players, particularly given what everyone was saying about them, um, it was good for the WNBA because now people are talking about it. What you got, B Wise?
So I was gonna say, can I be messy for a little bit to say I think all this is a plan, or let me
Could
show you.
be.
This was a year ago.
That's That's kind of what I'm getting at, because like, you know, it's they blowing it out of proportion. Like if it was two regular players, it would never been a story. But
Yep.
because it's these two and the history they have with each other dating back to college when they faced off against each other, and you know all the taunting and all that stuff, like that's why this is a story.
Let me show y'all this. This was a year ago. Hold up.
National championship game. Now, it all started from the national championship game. I've been doing it for 2 years now, and understanding like yeah, probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that because look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to games. We got celebrities coming to games, sold out arenas, like just because of one single game. And just looking at that, like I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that. It also.
So, with hearing that and with everything that's going on, I'm like, is this all like part of the plan to get it? Like, I hate to say it this way because I don't want to say it this way, but it's WWE-ish to where like
Scripted.
Jalen Brunson and Tyrese Halliburton meeting each other. Now they're in the finals. Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark. This is from a year ago. Now this is the biggest thing in sports, and they're outdrawing the Yankees versus Mets like for a blowout. What was it? A 40-point blowout?
Yeah,
35.
I don't think like yes, they're taking the story and running with it when they can because they know it's going to draw viewers. I don't think they're putting stuff into place to make these people to make these athletes like go at each other. Like I think it's all happening organically. I just think that the fact that they had, you know, Tyrese Halliburton and Jalen Brunson on an episode of SmackDown or whatever it was, like, and then they end up meeting in the Eastern Conference Finals, you know, a while later. I don't think that was planned. Like, you know, obviously the
Well, you got
Celtics blowing those leads like they did, like that wasn't you can't plan that. Um, Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, like you can't plan situations in games where they'll potentially butt heads. Like, you know, that's just going to happen when they play against each other. It just is. And given the stories about them and the thing and the way the media talks about them on the outside, like it carries over into the game. So, like, yes, whenever they face off against each other, it's going to be highly anticipated no matter what the score is or who's on the roster because, you know, we want to see these two possibly interact with each other. Like, what's going to happen? And we got a moment. We got a taste of that, you know, in that game when Caitlin Clark, you know, committed that hard foul, and everyone kind of like, oh, this is what we paid to see right here. Like, you know, these two been going at it, you know, back and forth.
Was it a
the
hard foul?
game with
Was it
words.
really a hard
Yeah,
foul?
yeah,
it was a hard foul.
It was. It was. I don't think it was anything extra to it or anything. It was just a hard foul. She happened to be the one that committed it. And again, it gave everybody a story. Everybody was running with it, like, oh, like, yeah, like, okay, like, yeah, she put her hands on her, but like, you know, I know it was a basketball play, but like, oh, she got physical with her. Like, people expect to see that from Angel Reese, but not so much from Caitlin Clark. And I think that's why people really kind of got to talking because Caitlin Clark hasn't been the one. She hasn't really been an aggressor like that towards Angel Reese. She was the one taking the licks from everybody. So, but yeah, I don't think that was like a play where, you know, Angel Reese got the rebound and she's just like, oh, I'm just going to pick a random moment during the game where Angel Reese gets a rebound and I'm just going to light her up. Like she was right there when it happened and she, you know, just hard foul. Like, I don't think it was anything extra. The media made it extra. But again, if this is two regular players, this is not a story. We don't even know about it.
I didn't send it last night because it was 12 o'clock and I didn't want to send that to the group chat at 12 o'clock at night. But I had a video. It showed like exactly what you're talking about right there. Like all the hard fouls and all the stuff that went on last year that now it's a big thing. But that's why I say I get it, but this particular moment, like, why is it so? Why is it this? Why is it this? Like, why does this moment cause this right here?
I mean, I think we all know why. I mean, it's because of who did
Segue.
it.
Hashtag segue.
Yeah.
Who did it, and because Angel Reese overreacted. It's almost like the Malice in the Palace when Ron Artest fouled Ben Wallace, and Ben Wallace overreacted, mushing Ron Artest in the face, which caused all that. It was an overreaction. And if Caitlin Clark would have hard fouled Angel Reese, and Angel Reese would have just went to the free throw line, it probably wouldn't even have been a story.
Yeah.
Angel Reese, you gotta stop. Angel Reese, don't be like Draymond Green. Don't run up to Caitlin Clark because she's not gonna react. But then if someone else hard fouls you, you ain't got nothing to say.
Yeah.
Don't be that chick. Don't be like Draymond Green.
Wow.
Caitlin Clark's not gonna do nothing. She's
What's
gonna
going on, Ethos?
Huh?
What? Wow. Wow.
You good, Miles? I was just saying what's up to Ethos, Miles. You
Oh no,
good?
I'm done. But Angel Reese, man, you got to get better offensively. I don't. I mean, I know it was just one game, but you can't be scoring 12 points. You got to get the points up. Hopefully,
We appreciate you popping in.
Yes, sir. Thanks for popping in and seeing us.
Yes, sir.
But yes, but I also think too that they do that. They got to overhype these stories and make them appealing for the audience too, because again, the women's game is different from the men's. Like the men's game, the rivalries and stuff are good, but the men.
Trigger
You
just
gotta be
froze.
kidding
What's
me.
going on? Something going on. Trigger froze.
They're trying to get his damn game away.
It's the Yankees.
But yeah. So the Yankees come into this inning up 5-0, ninth inning. We're 1 out away. They give up 2 home run, and the next guy comes up and hits a triple. So another base hit, and we got a 5-3 game. It's 5-2 right now. You just need 1 out.
And it's gonna be Volpe. They get that out for you too, Trigger.
Hell no, he not. I hate Ian Hamilton. I know I don't trust him anymore. I don't know why I keep running him out there too. Anywho, but back to what I was saying. They give up. They do. When it comes to the women's game, it is a little different. So they gotta rely a little bit more on storylines and rivalries and stuff because that makes it interesting for them to watch. The men is not hard. They're athletic, they're dunking. The games are exciting. The moves that they make. And then you add on the rivalries, then the other storylines if there are some. It's not hard to get excited for the men's game. When it comes to the women, they're not. They're not as athletic as the men. The game's not as exciting, but rivalries are. And people love a good rivalry. They love a good head-to-head. They love to have something to sink their teeth into because that makes it all that more interesting, right? You got these two people who, they hate each other and they're going against each other and they're doing it through sport. And that makes me want to tune in and watch, like which athlete's better, who's going to one up the other person, whose team or who's going to come out victorious and successful. People like those kinds of stories. So the WNBA is doing a great job of promoting that as their headline because it attracts viewers. That's why they got more viewers than the Mets and the Yankees with Soto, returning to the Bronx being a big deal. The same night, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese faced off with each other, and Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese got more views. because everyone was, there's a story, there's a history there. Now, there's a history with Soto and the Yankees too, but you know, people want to see. Caitlin Clark got that triple double. Yeah, what's gonna happen with Angel Reese now? So yeah, I believe it. They came in and they absolutely they knew what they were doing with that one, and they hyped it up, and they're going to continue to hype it up. These girls, they don't play each other every game, but they're going to continue to hype it up every chance they get so that people tune in.
I just hate, and I hope it doesn't get to this, but down the line, when it comes time for these contracts, that people don't use a certain position you can always run to say, oh, why is one contract bigger than the other? If, like what Mallz was saying, that and Ethos was saying, if that offense don't start coming along, because you can't score 12 points in the big of this stage that you were in and get blown out like that. Like, it don't speak well for the rivalry. I mean, I heard people say that. How's it a rivalry when one side don't score? Like, so.
I mean, I get it. But with Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, it'll be a rivalry because they started this thing in college. So
Is this the WNBA's Magic and Larry Bird?
Magic got to start winning if they want to.
Yeah, they got. Yeah, I agree with that.
So we'll see. But all right, let's get into the baseball. The last, we're gonna bring it home. All right, Trigga. How was Juan Soto's return to the Bronx?
Well, there was a lot that happened over the weekend with that, and that obviously was a storyline. For all the entire 3-game set that they had in New York. However, I kind of felt bad for Juan Soto a little bit.
I did.
I know, and a bunch of Yankee fans didn't, but it got to a point where I felt bad for him because he was trying so hard. He was trying so hard to act like he wasn't fazed by the fans, and you can just tell that it bothered him. It really did, and he played like it bothered him. And then seeing all the reports of him, people saying how much he wanted to stay with the Yankees, and then his family persuaded him to join the Mets, and he might have regretted his decision. Like all these rumors and stuff coming out about how he really feels. I wouldn't be surprised if they were true. I don't know if that is the case, but actions speak louder than words. And the way he played and how he reacted to the crowd, booing him, I think it said a lot about how he might have messed this one up, maybe. But the good news is he has an opt out in 4 years. He's not locked in with the Mets for 15. Because remember that clause in his contract after his 4th year, if he or 5th year, whatever year it was, if he opts to stay with the Mets, they add an extra $5 million for the next 10 years after that, which makes that $765 million contract go up to over $800 million. So, anywho, getting into the game and the way they play, Soto, I think the first night he walked 3 times. He drew 3 walks, which, I do miss having that on the Yankees. Him being able to get on base consistently, drawing walks. He has a great eye at the plate. He has great plate discipline. He doesn't chase outside the zone very much. He's going to make you throw him pitches that he can hit, or you're going to put him on base because you're going to walk him. So he did draw 3 walks and 4 at-bats on Friday. However, Saturday and Sunday, he did not go so well. He went 1 for 10 overall through 3 games, which is not very good at all. He also got in trouble for not hustling in the 3rd game. He hit a ground ball he probably could have beat out, but he didn't hustle, so it ended up being an out. That also carried over into the Red Sox game last night. He had the same issue. He hit a ball to the Green Monster, thought it was out of there. That ball fell down. And instead of getting the double, he got a single. He was interviewed about that after the game. The reporters asked him, "Has this become a problem for you? Like you're not hustling, getting to first base?" And he's like, no, I don't think it's a problem. So being oblivious to an obvious problem, that's not a good sign. The Mets coaching staff said that they would talk to him about that, which is also not a good sign. I also saw a report that said that, Juan Soto is kind of, meh around the Mets clubhouse. Like he's not really feeling them, not really feeling the whole situation at all. Don't know if that's true or not, but, it's crazy how these reports come out, after what happened this weekend. I don't think they're far-fetched, but again, is it true or is it not true? I don't know. I think we'll find out one day. But Soto was not very good this weekend. And I want to get into the emotions of the crowd too. So obviously, when Soto came up to bat, the Yankees fans gave it to him, right? Like nobody cheered him; they booed him heavily, and all he could do was smile it off and nod. And when he was out in the outfield, they turned their backs to him, and they would yell, "F you, Soto," and he would turn around and kind of look at him, and people just individually heckling him, and he just, he would just smile, but like you could tell it bothered him, like you could tell it bothered him, and like I said, like I felt bad because, I know what it's like to be in a situation where like fans getting booing you, not because you turned your back on them and left them. Obviously, because you're the visiting player, like, but his situation, him leaving the Yankees high and dry, like, yeah, I mean, what else was he going to? I think he expected to be booed, and he even made a quote. He said it's going to be 50,000 versus 1 going into that series, and he was right because they came in there and they for 3 games. Every time he came up the bat, they booed him. When he struck out, they cheered. When he grounded out, they cheered. Like every time he did something bad, they cheered. That grand slam that Cody Bellinger hit went right over his head, and they cheered. Very ironic too in that last game of the series that all the players that we got basically and gave money to that was going to go to Soto beat the Mets. Cody Bellinger, that grand slam. Paul Goldschmidt hit a big hit. Devin Williams came in and shut it down. And Max Fried, who was pitching in that third game, was lights out. So those 4 guys who we got, instead of signing or re-signing Soto, all had an imprint on winning that game. It was just poetic justice. That grand slam that Cody Bellinger hit to win the game in the 8th inning went right over Soto's head in right field in that short porch. And all he could do was just watch. And it was just, like I said, it was poetic. I think these things happen for a reason sometimes. And it's just, those guys to be able to get the job done, Bellinger hitting that grand slam that went over Soto's head, just you can't script it any better. There was somebody out there who said that the fans booing Soto was not classy. Then again, when has Yankee fans ever been classy, right? So the fact that they booed Soto, he felt that they shouldn't have booed Soto because he hit the home run that sent the Yankees to the World Series.
Look at what happened to that Pacer fan.
Yeah. So they said they shouldn't boo Yankees fans shouldn't have booed Soto because he hit the home run against the Cleveland Guardians to send the Yankees to the World Series last year. I don't know. My memory's a little foggy. Y'all remember who won the MVP of that series?
Aaron Judge.
No.
You talking about the World Series?
No, the ALCS against the Guardians. Who
Wasn't it? It was dude with the chain that played.
Chisholm?
No, it's the dude with the chain. He played first base, didn't he?
Nope.
You gonna say his name? It's not Rizzo. What's his name?
Was it Juan Soto?
You think about Verdugo, but no. Nope, Juan Soto.
Yeah. I was thinking Verdugo.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Jeter.
Giancarlo Stanton was the MVP of that series.
Okay.
So everyone's saying, the Yankees fans shouldn't boo Soto because he hit the home run that sent the Yankees to the World Series. Well, what? Yeah, Giancarlo had 4 hits in 5 games. All 4 hits were home runs. All of those home runs either tied or took the lead in those games against the Guardians. Juan Soto had 3 home runs in the series. None bigger than that one he hit that did give us the the win in Game 5. But everyone's acting like this man, had impact bat after impact bat during that series when it mattered. That was Stanton. That's why he won MVP. Even though Soto had a better batting average, had more hits, and had better numbers across the board, only thing he didn't have was more home runs. And those home runs that Stanton hit were game-changing home runs. It wasn't just home runs that he hit that were meaningless. Like I said, they either tied the game or they put us ahead. Stanton won that MVP. So for him to say the Yankees fans should cheer him, no. The Yankees fans should cheer him if he helps us win that World Series against the Dodgers. See, it's different. If Soto helps the Yankees win that World Series, then he goes to the Mets. I don't think anybody in Yankee Stadium is booing him, or at least booing him as much as they did. Maybe the crowd is split. Half of them are cheering, half of them are booing him. But he doesn't get flat out booed if he wins a World Series and then he goes off. Winning always helps situations. That's why with Giannis, like Bucks fans probably not going to boo him because if he does decide to request a trade and he does get traded to another team and he comes back and plays in Milwaukee, they can't be mad at him because he did give them a championship. That's why Cleveland fans were upset with LeBron when he first went to Miami. Not only because of the way he did it, but because he didn't deliver them a championship. So fans will always hold that against you. But if you win for them and you give them something, you give that city a championship, you can go anywhere and you'll be just fine most of the time. So I think that would have been the case with Soto. Had the Yankees won the World Series last year and Soto was a big part of helping them do that, the Yankees fans don't boo him or give him that treatment that they gave him over the weekend.
Wonderfully stated, Trigger. All right, fellas. Let's. What's your final thoughts? That's it. I think we just scratched all the thing that do be scratched.
Well, I was gonna say some sports wise, but after what I saw today, fellas, stop letting these women ruin your lives. You don't need side pieces. Stick to your main piece. We all hear the story about what may have happened with Sophie Cunningham and the Phoenix Suns CEO. You saw what happened with Ime Udoka. Look, it ain't worth it.
No, he messed that up. Now, how you do that to Nia Long? Nia
Hey,
Long?
you know what I heard? I heard Nia Long. Hey, she got an attitude problem. She can't get along with nobody.
She just needs some good wee. That's all she needs.
Yeah, you think that?
I know.
Well, hold on, Lady Ray. What do you think I just said? I just said, fellas, stop letting these women ruin your lives. Yes, use your brain on your head, which is above your neck.
They appreciate you protecting yourself, but
yeah.
I knew what you were trying to say.
Yeah, it is, fellas. It is not worth it. Don't let 10 minutes of pleasure ruin your life. It is not worth it.
Hey, some of us are a good solid 5 minutes and 33 seconds.
Well, you know, I'm a stone cold Steve.
See,
that's why myself.
That's why his electrical circuit in the bedroom broke right now.
I'm a stone cold Steve.
All it took was 5 minutes.
316, baby. 316.
That's all it took was 5 minutes and 33 seconds to have a whole electric circuit board break.
It's a
lifetime of electrical work.
And for the ladies, this is why I say go through that phone. I don't just say men.
Side note, 10 minutes of active relations is a long time.
That is a long time.
That's a long time.
That is a long time.
I better not let my wife hear y'all say that. I'll never get none again.
That is a long time, y'all. Yeah. Well, ladies, and start being realistic with the time. Y'all sitting there talking about you be going for 2-3 hours. No, the fuck we not.
Who the hell doing all that?
I'm gonna be asleep.
Fellas, take your time.
Bernie Mac say 3 minutes.
Take your time.
That's all I'm giving you. That's all I got.
You make sure you pray over your food. You make sure you blow your food. You make sure
blow your food. Hold on.
Do everything. Make sure you do everything before you partake in eating your food, fellas, and watch how much time that takes. Then that 10 minutes turn into about 35 minutes if you do it right. And then you got
if we do it for 35 minutes, I've been asleep for 20.
Like Kevin Hart said, put you in 10 positions in 3 minutes and make it feel like 35 minutes.
Right.
Aftercare is important, fellas. Aftercare. All right. Don't eat yellow snow, and
Oh my gosh.
non-toxic crayons taste the best. Trigger, you got anything?
Or where you be coming up with these one-liners?
Hey, shout out that
Lady
crayon
Ray
joke.
said
Marine
multiple
Corps.
days. Multiple days of what?
Oh yeah. Oh Lord.
Whoa. Wait
Shout
a
out to the
minute.
Marine Corps. United States Marine
Hey,
Corps celebrating 250 years. Uh,
shout out to Lady Ray, y'all, out here running marathons.
multiple days is crazy.
That is crazy.
They said they had. You can have it 15 days in a row. That means you was actively 15 days. I don't think they were active 15 days in a row. I think they may have done it 15 days. But if you were active 15 days in a row, one, it's a lot of things that's gonna happen as we're
Said not
learning.
me. Yeah, right.
Um. Anything else, Trigger, that you got?
Nah, man. Yeah, I really wanted to talk about my
Oh,
Yankees and get into Volpe and address the whole Soto situation. People talking about why the Yankees fans booing him. Like, he didn't do nothing for me. Then he left me. And even after that game, I meant to throw this in there too. Like after the World Series when we lost, like the interview, I think turned a lot of people off because he went right into business for himself. Like Russell Westbrook, after the Nuggets got eliminated, the reporter asked him, "Have you decided what you're gonna do with your player option?" And Russell Westbrook was like, "Well, do you know what you're gonna wear tomorrow?" The reporter said no, and Russ was like, "Exactly," and he got up and walked off. Juan Soto, on the other hand, they asked him about his free agency, and he started talking about it. Oh, open for business, 30 teams, blah blah blah, all this other stuff. Like nothing had to say. Like he didn't just lose the World Series. He didn't show that he cared. He lost at all, and everybody said it right then and there. This man is a mercenary. Like how the heck you lose a game like that? The way you lost it, a 5-0 lead, and you blew it, and now you talking about your free agency, and then people want to get mad because Yankee fans are booing him. Like, no, this man didn't win a championship with us and then left us for our crosstown rival. And then after the game that we lost, an excruciating loss in the World Series, he got the nerve to talk about, opportunities with 29 other teams potentially. Like, yeah, they're going to boo him. He deserves to get booed. But I still felt bad for him because, he was trying so hard to act like it won't affect him, and it was. But yeah, I forgot to throw that in there. But yeah, that's all I got.
shout out to SGA for 7 free throws in the first quarter. The free throw merchant chants are back. It's been strictly sports. As y'all
Just
know.
doing James Harden like that. SGA is the victim.
You already know, Trigger. Subscribe, drop a comment, tell a friend, pass us on, share us.
Tell a friend. Tell a friend.
We are strictly sports, but sometimes we talk about other stuff. I'm Be Wise.
I'm Trigger.
Fellas, we gotta do better.
Fellas, just enjoy your milk. We out.